Ring. Chaos Reign presents The Psychology of Men with special guest Kosher Clinician. Broadcast August the 29th, 2021. Enjoy.
expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and taking more greater or extreme chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, my people and everybody. This is Chaos right here, and today's stream is, going to be more of an educational segment, something that we're going to examine. And this is something very important for all the ladies to have a more grasp understanding. But before I go into the title of the subject at hand, please go to TalkRealSolutions.com. There you'll see the 3-point plan for Black empowerment, Black achievement. Also, there's a list of Black established banks here in North America. I think there's roughly maybe 30 or under 30 Black-owned banks left, hopefully. Also, you also will find on the website the latest news articles of current events that's going on around the world. And there's a donation tab on Talk World Solutions as well. So wherever you will feel that you're inclined the show is worth, throw a little dollars or cents into the bucket towards the channel on T.R.S. Also, you can follow Talk World Solutions on Facebook. Type in Talk World Solutions on Facebook. There, once you like the group on Facebook, you will be invited to the private chat where it gets interesting. We talk about a lot of things in the private chat, current events, what's going on social media, YouTube, etc. And you're going to have a laugh too because there's a lot of funny stuff going on to the back chat or the private chat on Facebook on Talk World Solutions. So if you want to know a little bit more, find the page on Facebook and like the page today. And last but not least, Talk World Solutions also on YouTube as well under the same name. This is where this show and many other shows are hosted as well. So you can find this channel. Actually, you can find this stream and everything else on Talk World Solutions on Facebook. And like always, you can find me, Chaos Rain, on Facebook and on YouTube. I go by the name Eric Rain on Facebook and on YouTube, Chaos Rain, where I have like maybe over 300 shows, maybe less. I gotta double check how many shows I have, but I have a lot of shows on YouTube. So feel free to subscribe to the Chaos Rain channel as well, and hit the top bell for uploads and live streams. And that's pretty much it. I ain't gonna hold y'all time much well. So let's read the title at hand. Chaos Rain presents The Psychology of Man. And today, my special guest, the one and only Kosher Clinician, is the special guest for tonight's stream. So if you could press *61, Kosher Clinician, so go up your mic. Okay. Oh, he probably. Let me help him out. Oh, can you hear me? Kosher Clinician? Hello? Let me make sure.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay. Good. Welcome, Kosher Clinician. Welcome for the very first time here on T.R.S. Welcome. Before we go into this deep subject at hand, I would like to take a step back in time so we can move forward into the present and take an even greater leap into the future. So for the first time on Talk Real Solutions, tell everybody that's listening for the first time a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the kosher clinician. I go by the name Moses Stevens on Facebook. I am a licensed clinical therapist, and I decided to start this platform based on the concept of sublimation. The concept of sublimation is a clinical term that actually means to take something bad and turn it into something good. And more or less ironic or iconic to the name chaos reign, chaos reigns in the world today because most men don't have the coping skills to deal with the chaos in the inner psychic of their soul. So I started the channel, The Kosher Clinician. That's my YouTube channel. And the moniker is based on 7 core principles that a man must go through in order to become optimized. And those 7 core principles are family, faith, female psychology, finances, world travel, politics, and male mental and physical health. And if a man can successfully master those 7 steps, he becomes an optimized male. And if he does that, then the chaos that's actually going on in his inner psyche perhaps will dissipate.
Excellent. I like that. On your channel on YouTube, does you do like a separate video, a short video breaking that down with PowerPoints, if possible, Kosher?
Man, I will say I'm a busy brother, man. I'm extremely busy.
Okay.
But we'll definitely, that's something I look into. But as of now, I'm so busy. We'll see in the future.
Okay. All right. The psychology of man. Now, this is a very broad subject entirely, but let's see how well we could go through this. What is the one thing that, besides us men, but for the opposite sex, has not have a real grasp or understanding of man? To the women that, if they're really interested or not interested, that understand really what is a man. Besides what they see or learn. Yeah, I'm asking. Yeah. What they see or heard, because usually most people when they hear the term man, they think it's a man that he is a man, he has something below his waist, and he does maybe set things. But does really people have really grasp understanding what is actual man?
Well, I think a lot of people don't have what I call a cogent grasp on what's a man because they've never seen true masculinity in the context or the confines of their home. Therefore, they don't really know what a true man is. A true man, chaos reign, is a person that stands on principles and standards. Those principles and standards more or less actually fortifies that person to become the best version of himself. If you look at it through the lens of theology, Jesus once said that I come to do the will of the Father that sent me. And so when a man has principles as is related to the will of a sound father, he has purpose in his life, and he's not easily moved by the trends and the winds of life. The problem with a lot of men now is because they don't have strong masculine influence, because most kids and men are born in single-parent homes. And unfortunately, a lot of our women don't think on principles, they think on feelings. And you know and I know that feelings are very fickle and feelings can deceive you. And because of that, a lot of times men are more or less pigeonholed into this ongoing karmic cycle where they're trying to please and perfect the women in their lives instead of more or less harnessing the inner consciousness, which is their purpose, and more or less sharpening or galvanizing that.
Okay. Do the average man today, and this applies to all race of men, including us, do we really know our purpose, or are we still seeking, or we just don't think it's a necessity to find purpose on oneself as a man?
Well, I think a man seeks his purpose once he has had the guidance or the admonition of his father. I don't think most men are seeking their purpose today, unfortunately, because they've never seen a man in their life that more or less is an advocate of purpose. You have to have what I call a living epistle or a living testimony of what purpose is before you can actually aspire to be part of that purpose. And so because of that, I think a lot of men are not more or less aspiring for their purpose because they've never seen it, unfortunately.
Okay. Now, I notice with a lot of our people, because you notice there's always a constant war between the genders, and it's still ongoing. And I'm not sure if it's going to stop anytime soon, because I know there's no timetable when people like to go back and forth with each other because of whatever reason. Do you think if the men that either were pushed out or stayed with the woman that they had children with could, I would say, correct this thing that we have, what we call a battle between the genders amongst our communities?
So ask the question again.
Like I said, with the gender wars between man and woman in regards to either roles or just gender wars, say whose fault, who's at wrong or whatever, do you think that if the man himself was entered role, rather he was pushed out or he left, whatever case they said, the issue between the mother and the father, that if the man played the role and stayed with it with their children during their development, do you think that the gender wars we see now would slowly erase?
No, because men are staying and they're still getting the same results. So no, Jesus said you can't take new wine and put it into old wineskins. We live in a system that's corrupt, it's very unbalanced, and in clinical science, there's a such thing called behavior modification, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. And unfortunately, the world that we live in does not incentivize true masculinity. So if those men stay, it would be to their own detriment or to more or less to their own chagrin. So I would say no, staying does not solve anything. Actually, staying makes it worse many times because you are actually rewarding bad behavior.
Okay, that's good. That's good. It's funny. I hear from a lot of females when they talk about abandonment, etc. If the father in your life doesn't feel that he is respected in his own household and he has to make a crucial decision, whether he's married or not, and most, our families, some of them are not really married, depending on the situation, that a man, after a while, he just put his hands up and say, the hell with it, let me go on and move on with my business. Mm-hmm. Because he is not, I guess, respected in his own household. And I find that a lot of women keep pushing red that men, either fathers or the mothers with their either fathers or whoever, that they play a role that why the children are the way they are. Is there validation into that, or are they just sitting there gaslighting, or where special word they call it? We hear a lot of women talking about.
I'm trying to get clarity on your question. So you're asking me what again?
I was asking from what in regards the man decides to move on and doesn't want to deal with a woman with kids, and you hear it from a lot of women from their own experience. Some of them not even mothers yet, or they're mothers, or they become mothers, that they said the man decides to walk out of a situation. Do you think, I'm trying to be clear, that the man, it's like this. Men just don't walk out in a situation unless he feels he's not respected enough in his own comfort of his own masculinity. So they're using or giving out from the excuse that the man should stay and out for the way through a bad deal or relationship. So they said because the man left, this is the reason why the outcomes of their children that grow up to be failures is on the man. How much truth does that weigh in, if that's factual?
Well, listen, we do have some men that are not exemplars of masculinity. That plays some role, but I don't think you can put the whole crux of the issue on a man. Men have limited power in this country, and just as men are responsible for, just as some men are complicit in walking away. Just as some men are complicit in walking away. How can I say it? Just as some men are complicit in walking away, many women are responsible for the men that they choose. So it's a duality. That woman holds as much responsibility is the man. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I follow you.
Right.
They hold some responsibility, but it goes if they're exercising the responsibility at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, in our communities, especially women, they don't see the importance of holding the responsibility of every action they take.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if that is a learned behavior or someone has to teach them that. But like I said, if you're growing in this society for the last, let's say, 45 going 50 years without any structured households, then you're going to think you don't need no responsibility to every decision you make. Because what I remember back in history, besides shotgun marriage, usually if the daughter is seeking a boy and liking, she always has to bring this boy to the parents to screen him the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like back in the days, Kosher, if you understand history, because I know you're well read because you're older than me. I think you're in your like mid-50s. If you remember the history.
Oh my God, he's at mid-50s. I'm not old.
All right, yeah. But yeah, like I said, you know that there was always a stage of preparing the daughters where not every man is going to be attached to a womb. He has to prove not only to the daughter, but has to prove to the father. Because he's going to give you away in regards, this is now your responsibility. Right. That's how it goes on the average. But because in this society, for decades now, and you know, because the household's not as strong as it used to be, now women are out here just figuring it out. And through this process, they're taking damage over a period of years out of their time, their body, and their mental health, going about this life trying to find what they call the right man or the perfect man. So I'm not sure if you want to add on to this, because in my opinion, I'm not sure why people psychologically think, especially women, that they search for something that's perfect. I don't know if you want to go into that.
Well, listen, women suffer from a condition called, it's part of Briefolk's law, called hypergamy. They actually did a more or less a satire, Chaos Reign, and they more or less talked about, they gave women options. And so part of the options, they gave them options to go to an department store. And in that department store, they said, you know, they gave them a list of criteria. And part of that criteria was, on floor one, you have two men. And that was part of the criteria. You have two men, and not two men, but put it in a nutshell. It's too convoluted to explain, but it was basically every time the woman was given an opportunity to go to a lair, as it related to her having options, she forfeited those options only to have no options at all. And so most women are victims of their own hypergamy. Many women met that perfect man, but they thought they can get somebody better, and that's the purpose for why many are actually suffering.
And you know, because their line of thinking, they're going to be left behind. Because let's be honest, there are more women in America, especially from our community, than men by an extra 2 million, if the numbers still hold today. Because right now, I think now we got new census. I think it's now we're pushing 47 million black people in America, and still there's going to be always more women than men amongst our group. So if you're a woman that knows, and they know this already, culture, that if there's more, let's say, fruit in the jungle, and very little what's the word? Very little males to consume this fruit. What you gonna do? You're gonna not play with the law average, but you're gonna have to strategize to, if you want to be monogamous, to get and hold that one particular man. And what a lot of women's thinking today in this modern world, because we now call them modern women, that they think and feel that there are many fruits that they could sit there pick, and someone's going to take them in and say this is going to be, they're going to take you as their own. And we all know the social dynamics of interaction is not the case. In regards to you seeking a mate for yourself to hope to marry you, have children, and move on with life. And because they've been fed a lie that fuels their delusion, now they get to a point in life where they get to a stage of age that now the men that they hoping to get are not really checking for them, besides maybe some sex.
Right.
And I heard some women that's under 30 say that some men are checking for the sex and nothing more. So when men ask, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. I'm agreeing with you. Keep talking. You doing a good job.
My thing is this. All right, so when men ask them these questions, I think Chaos asking these questions, if they ask this, that, all right, what do you offer more to a man than, if he gets between your legs?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee a lot of them will not give it. They'll probably give you a small, simple answer that they go to school and stuff, which everybody go to school if they need to. You get me? And that's what you have to do. It has to be more. What type of role or tradition, something that you carry to bring to this table that's going to separate you from the fruit of women, or other women?
Right.
Because we all know the culture dynamic of other race women, and I hear one make this blatant statement, this excuse that, well, their men provide something for these women, that's why they get normal and effeminate. And that is not really the truth, to be honest with you.
Right.
Just the other day, I saw a video of a football game, and the woman was more masculine in that situation where the man, did something to her, while the boyfriend had to react. He got his face busted open, and she up there protecting him. And the man couldn't even get control of his own woman. And that was exposed throughout the internet. So I really want to think deeply, say, are these people really, they're talking about that's really protecting? And a bunch of men saw that, and they did not attack that one brother.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, that's a football game.
Right, you're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That, and I'm only using this as an example for clarity for people that's going to listen to this, that these group people are not as superior as you think they are. If a man is in his purpose and his masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
So when women make this complaint that the other groups of women are being protected, I say that depends. If the woman carries herself a certain way. If you carry yourself as a masculine woman, an alpha woman, this new term I hear lately, if you heard about his culture, most men are going to step in and going to protect no masculine woman on the average.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm seeing. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong or not, but they got to see something out of you that's worth protection. You get me?
Right.
So, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Right. You're right. So you're right. A man must see something worth protection, but what women don't understand that protection is more or less fortified, more or less in that femininity. The femininity is the catalyst that will afford a man to protect a woman. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. The calling for tonight's show, for those who want to call it, and I will take calls. So if you guys want to raise your hand anytime, please do. The call number is 712-770-4160. The access code is 917-324-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code is 917-324-pound. Tonight's subject, T.R.S. presents The Psychology Man with special guest, Kosher Clinician.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we get to the man aspects, in regards to psychology of man, is a man today, in regards to his thinking, is he thinking too much below his waist, or is he more of a logical being? Now, what I mean by this is that, they always talk about when they see men, and always we think about sex, and we like the brutes that we're going to sit there want to screw everything moving. I always said that's a possibility, but this is something more to how a man thinks, the way how he behaves and moves. So I'm not sure if you want to answer in this regards to this comment. I don't know if it's a question, but I just lay it out.
Well, a man's base nature is his desire for sex. A woman's base nature is her survival mechanism, which is provision and protection. Both are complicit. Now, listen, women love sex just as much as men love sex, but because men have more testosterone coursing through their veins, they have stronger proclivities for sex than a woman, even though women love sex too, and they have a small percentage of testosterone that more or less places them at risk of being taken advantage of. So women have the same proclivities as men, but men have it at a higher level. Now, to the point, are men more or less slaves of their loins? To some degree, yes. Some men don't have penis discipline. And because of that, they have more or less left themselves in a very vulnerable situation where they can be manipulated by unsavory women. But also, Chaos Ring, a lot of it too, brothers, because a lot of men don't have the proper guidance. I grew up in a time where the black community was more vibrant, and you see I was 50s. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I got the white salt and pepper beard. But I remember a time when men and women in the communities were a lot more vibrant. So, and I saw more intact families and elders and, people talking to some of these young men, giving them pointers. I mean, it wasn't always clear, but the black community was a lot more vibrant, when I came out of high school back in 1990. That seems ancient compared to now, if that answers your question. So men are responsible for controlling their sexual desires. But unfortunately, Chaos Reign, we live in a country where a lot of men are not even getting sex from women. So, I think they did a 29% of men are actually virgins. So I don't know if it actually matters because a lot of men are not getting sex. It's only the select men, the high-value men.
It's interesting you mention that because I've noticed another brothers, the ones from Florida, what I'm talking about. They did mention that with a few ladies on their table in their studio about men are not having sex like that, especially in America, in the West. A lot of women think that men are slinging women left to right. And when we we have to look at it today, we can look at social media as a better tool. You see dudes complaining if they can get the woman they want or they're not getting enough sex. One or the other. Even to the women knows that these dudes are in your DM. And even if you agree to their favors, then they are the ones that probably might get access to you. But the average man from the same dudes in Florida, they tell you honestly, when they talk about body count, men are not getting it like that. And the ones that really have money like that and, let's say, have that mouthpiece and stuff, they might push 20 women a year, maybe 10 or 7 at less, if given a good day or a good year. But overall, men are not slinging like that. And a lot of women, when they heard that from these same gentlemen, they look at them like they crazy. And it makes me think that, let me tell you something. Men will lie on their phallus.
Right.
But women cannot understand and go through the bullshit of men's lie on the average. And like I said, I believe in America the virginity is kind of bad, but it could be worse like other countries like Asia, which I guarantee is like maybe 10%. I mean, it was actually no. Well, it was 29, so it's like probably worse in Asia, especially China, because there's more men than women, and a lot of Asian men they take on tradition that if they're not going to be in the direction where they're going to be husbands, they're not going to get no coochie. They're not going to do that. They think of sex differently than how we think of sex here in the West. Sex is like commercialized now, today. It's promoted. The reason why it's promoted because, let's be honest, the more you think and vibrate and focus on sex, you're not engaged in doing things that's more productive that you should accomplish in your life.
Right.
Sex energy is actually a waste of energy if not used properly.
Right.
So if you as a man, if you're able to get like that, and you're going from women left to right by the numbers a year, I guarantee you're very less productive as a man. On average.
Can be, yes, sir. Right. Can be.
You can't because you're going to drain yourself. You're going to bust out the essence out of you every time. And mind you, you're exchanging something out of it, but if you're just doing that on a given a daily basis, then you don't have time for productivity. And there's data on this. I don't know if you want to go into science of that, if you want to, but I'll give the floor to you.
Well, it's not even the science; it's just common sense. Men that are more focused on their purpose are more or less not complicit in being taken advantage of, versus men that are just out here more or less being slaves to their phallus. So it's really just common sense. Men that are focused on their purpose tend to be a lot more compared to men that are focused on their phallus. And that's where the discipline and balance comes when you have strong masculine fathers in place to teach you what to do and how to know right from wrong. But unfortunately, a lot of our boys don't have they unfortunately don't have the admonition of their fathers anymore, unfortunately.
And it makes me wonder, like the situation with P.J. Washington and Brittany.
And right.
It makes me wonder how much a role of his development as a boy that was a young adult that got to NBA, how much his father was involved in his development. And I don't know people really look in the background of a lot of these players, these NBA players, for the last 30 or 40 years. A lot of them, let's be honest with you, have been raised by single mothers. You
Right.
know what I mean? And if a woman like herself say that a lot of these dudes don't think about their future, they like to go in it raw and shoot the club, that's a result because they have no guidance. Case in point, Lamar Ball has 3 sons. One of them had a child before he finished high school.
Right.
I guarantee you the other 2 will not do the same thing the older brother does. You know why? Because Lamar Ball told his sons about what's going to happen to him once they're out here making money.
Mm-hmm.
Even the youngest one, they say that he's messing around with an older woman. They don't understand that this young boy, I guarantee you, because his father is involved with his lives, that these 2 are going to be fine. The other brother knows he's already reaping the consequence of the little wedlock from the one chick from high school. You get me?
Well, having fathers in your life is not a guarantee.
Okay.
Ask P.J. Washington, but it can act as a buffer, just like having a strong father is not a guarantee that your daughter won't go astray. Nothing.
Correct.
Nothing is foolproof, but the chances of variability are greatly reduced when you have those elements in place. Nothing is the panacea or nothing is foolproof, but when you have those variables in place, the outcomes are greatly reduced. If that makes sense.
It not only makes sense, but if you could give like a ratio without, let's say, fathers involved in their sons' lives, what percentage you think, just off the head, not to be exact, but what you think will be the average percentage?
Well, I don't know an exact percentage, but there is data that says that fathers that are active in their boys' lives are less at risk for, negative behavior. So I don't know a percentage, but there's research that says fathers that are active in their sons' lives are the boys are less at risk for negative behavior, and it's very high. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's very high.
Okay.
Fatherlessness is when I worked in law enforcement. Fatherlessness is the greatest precursor for boys getting caught up in negative behavior.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know my good friend Mr. Charles Faulkner works in law enforcement as well, and he sees it every day when he's on the field with the children with just only the mother, and he sees the trouble these children get themselves into, either in a life of crime, and no man's there to really grab them by the neck to really shake them back out of reality. You get me? And I'm not saying a good butt whooping will work on the average, but a man that sets order to a lot of these young males, it's going to make them start reevaluate their behavior very fast.
Right. Well, corporal punishment, chaos reign, was actually taken out of a lot of situations, and some people are against corporal punishment. Some are for it. The research is mixed. Some actually say that that corporal punishment should be the very last resolve. It shouldn't be the first, and you should never do it out of anger. But now most kids now they are not. They don't know what corporal punishment is. Most kids now have never really been disciplined, so they don't really know the ravishing effects of being spanked. And every child is different. Some kids respond to corporal punishment, some don't. So it's mixed baggage on that particular anomaly. If that makes sense.
My thing with corporal punishment, like I agree with you. It should be the last stage of anything. I remember back in the days when I heard stories of a lot of young men that are adults of the 90s that was going around neighborhoods back in the 70s, especially that they usually get disciplined at school, then the neighbor, then at home, and it has been effective to a degree. But my thing is this: because we deal with a new generation of young people, that you cannot do the same thing that was done yesteryear and still get the same outcomes, because people and environments changes.
Well, human beings really haven't changed at all. Human beings are basically the same way they've been 3,000 years ago. They are just more malleable. They've been socialized differently. If you look at kids in African countries, they're better. They still adhere to traditional mores, and the kids tend to be a lot better. Kids that come from more rural traditional cultures where the men are patriarchal are more well respected and more or less disciplined children. Kids that come from more liberal cultures, children tend to be more fancy with their lips. So human beings haven't really changed over the last thousands of years. It's just that human beings are socially conditioned differently now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're conditioned now. I think living in this environment, people, especially our communities, are conditioned to, I guess, do what they want to do, and think there's no consequence unless Miss Charlie comes around to.
There's no consequence, right?
Yeah. Only consequence comes to play is when Mr. Charlie, aka the Caucasian man, comes and steps in to inflict the punishment overall. You know, it's like the rat test. You know what I'm saying? Reward and punishment. And we as people, we do not control the reward and punishment in our actions in our communities as a whole enough, in my opinion. So, like always, chaos is in full effect. You hear people always use the word, use it loosely. We're living in a state of chaos, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the reason why I call myself Chaos Rain, but that's not a story. But, like I said, no one's going to bring the order unless the one that creates the environment where you initiate the chaos. He comes in miraculously and restores order. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of our people, especially women, they rather have the white man correct everything and don't want the black man to be the beneficiaries or the things to restore order in their thinking. As a matter of fact, I'll do you some further. I remember a certain woman did streams on this, and they put a poll saying, is black women better and safe under white supremacy? And surprisingly, a whole lot of them said yes, they are. So I'm thinking, if you're so comfortable in a system that you do not control, why bother complain about racism and want to correct it? You already won. Integration has worked for black people. You don't need no one to correct it because you're more safer under white man than under black man rulership if it ever comes. It gives the notion that you do not need a black man, in my opinion. But you still want access to him sexually and still cater to little small needs because you know you're not going to get this from other groups of men. Because other groups of men demand something, and they're going to get it. And if you don't do this, you're cut out.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Keep talking. I'm agreeing.
And that's why a lot of sisters don't understand that the black men today, the older ones, will potentially still deal with you. And I said potentially. But the ones that's younger than both of us, they are already out the door.
Oh, yeah, they don't care. I totally agree, right.
They don't care. And a lot of women are complaining and crying about it. Even to the point say that if you're veering your options, I'm going to veer my options as well. And no one stopped you. No man stopped you. But the problem is you're not going to get the same outcomes because overall these other groups of men, they only look at you as sex.
Right.
And this is a man speaking from you. We both men. We know this. And we speaking from what not only but we know. Because we men. Because think about it, after integration and misogyny laws were removed in 67, now pushing almost 54 years, what has changed the outcomes of people veering their options and doing it well? The black man has veered his options and has done a little better than the sister because at the end, women need men. You, on your other hand, don't think you need or require a man, especially a black man. So you're going to hope to go over this side if you decide to go so, and I think that you're going to have better chance over there. But they already know, so they're not looking or needing you unless it's for sex or some other sinister means. And then they, at the end, make their own family and carry on their legacy. Because we all know groups of men of other race, depending on their situation, systematically, want to have legacy and carry on something. And dealing with black people, especially with women, it's not in the financial interest of passing down legacy and seed to you as a woman. Because now that messes with the pool of money that has to stay in this community overall. And let's be honest. I remember there was a speech lecture done by John Henry Clark, and I'm going to veer for the subject a little bit for people to follow me, that he talks about the role of the bastard in history.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going to write a book on this, but he stopped. You know why, Kosher?
Oh, I'm surprised he got a lot of heat.
No, it's more he said doing this could potentially get him a race.
Right. I agree. Yeah, he got a lot of heat. He got a lot of feedback. Right.
And not only that, he already had a stroke at the time when he was doing that lecture, briefly, and then was going to go into the actual lecture at hand. And he said that he has all the history, the books he read about miscegenation, the bastard being controlled, because when Europeans impregnate, they will use that mixed kid towards you and the group for other means.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about it, it's another form of control to use against you if you bring forth a child, because he already knows that what the child's going to be instilled, and it's going to be under this so-called Western world, from white man's seed to you. You see, unlike, say, with the European woman, and you know what's funny, since I'm talking about this, and I don't like talking about the racial aspects, but we got to be serious, that a lot of women don't like the Caucasian woman, but still like his son. I find that very odd.
Well, you know, I did a show that said, you know, she only respects power and strength. And a lot of our women only respect men that have power. The white man symbolizes power. The white woman symbolizes antagonism. The white man symbolizes power and resources. The white woman symbolizes resources taken out of her cupboard. So you understand, women are survivalists. Men are more or less utilities. And so that's why, you know, because they see the white man as a source of power and resources. And the white woman is the antithesis to power and resources.
I like that. I never think of it like that. Yeah.
Right.
And it makes me want to say, you know, when we talk about why our people still maintain and facilitate the order of this disordered system, is because you are groomed and nurtured not only by systems, by education, but also now we had to go into genetic level, the epigenetic level, because the trauma stays with you for your bloodline genetically. And the only way you're going to weed it out, you have to make the conscious decision to not only know yourself, but to know everything that plays against you and say never again. Just like every other group, like the Jews and stuff, where they went through their Holocaust, they say never again, and they make things and work hard, set things in place so it doesn't happen to again. You get me?
Right.
So it doesn't happen to generationally through the genetic level. And people understand trauma goes beyond the something happened to you in your household. It's passed down. So when things are passed down, what happens? People emulate it. I mean, think about this. And this is another question. How important is it, in regards to, we must understand the psychology, man, is the image of men when they start depict image of the black man as something evil, the brute, etc. In regards to how they look at the black man today? How important is the control of the image itself, and how we portray it more for our medias, the bad black man? That's a question. If you want me to rephrase it.
So yeah, rephrase it for me. I'm trying to get clarity.
Yeah, like I said, how is important of the image of the man, especially black man, important to our communities? In regards
the image
how
of the black man, right? The image of the black man is very important because his image has been bastardized, and because of that bastardization, it's caused a lot of people to have what's called unresolved fear, or sometimes the over-demonization of the black man. So it's important for the black man to be seen in a positive image, because so many, unfortunately, have more or less demonized black men as being, instead of icons of virtue, icons of chaos, no pun intended, and or icons of irresponsibility. And unfortunately, the research does not substantiate that. You know, 51% of black men, according to some studies, and I hear Kevin Samuels saying a lot, are single, and they're not. They're single and not don't have kids out of wedlock and never been married. So that's a misnomer for the most part.
And knowing that, a lot of women don't understand, there are channels now that a lot of men are pushing back this false image of the boogeyman, the evil black man. And it goes beyond certain movies that depict black men as no good, unproductive, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time when people talk about The Color Purple, I remember watching that movie, but I heard bad things about it. That movie came out during the heighten of what we call when women start to work and gain careers a little bit more in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, there was books written by other feminists like not Angela Davis. I forgot this in my mind again. But a lot of black feminists during the end of the 70s wrote books about the macho of the black man. I forgot her name, Alice Walker or one of them ladies. And we find out 2-3 years later or 4 years later, movies like this start to come out to reinforce this negative image.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, and this is another question, do you think that's the reason why a lot of black women have a problem with submission, especially submitted to black men? Because of the image they see of the black man?
Right. Yeah, the Alice Walker's book definitely played a role in the demonization of black men, but also, I call it matrilineal succession. Things that they heard from their moms actually painted black men in a negative light too. So it's a combination of factors. What they saw in movies, more or less, demonized black men, and like you said, the Alice Walker syndrome also played a role in the demonization, unfortunately, of black men as well. To be exact.
Yeah, because I know a lot of dudes complain about submission, and they're right about it to a degree. But I think if there's nothing really positive or something dealing with black men in a more greater light, only thing woman's going to submit is someone that is what they view as strong and dominant, like the Caucasoid man.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? And let's be honest.
Well, it's not so much that the Caucasoid men, I'm sorry to come across you, are strong and dominant. As I said earlier, it's about power. You got to understand, women are hard drive for power. The only thing she respects, as I said again, is strength and power. That's all she respects. If it's not strength and power, she doesn't respect it.
Okay. Strength and power, yeah, that would probably make more better sense. And
right.
And it makes me wonder, since we're talking about strength and power, this is another question. Why do a good portion of the black men, whether in large numbers or small, don't think about or try to attain or seek what we call power in the 21st century? From your lens, from what you understand, from what you see.
Right. I'm not going to say they don't try to seek power. Many of them don't have the skill set to seek power, and many of them have never seen what power looks like. And because of that, they, tend to do a lot of circular logic instead of finding viable solutions. So I think a lot of men have not seen power. Therefore, some of them don't know what it looks like. And that's not saying all, but you got to understand the media and negative programming is powerful, and a lot of it is through the negative influence of the media, where the media actually has programmed a lot of our people to see black men in a negative light, unfortunately.
Do you think it's the mother that raises their sons don't emphasize that they should try to attain or seek power, since she has mostly custody and is most of the groomers of a lot of these boys that we see today?
Well, you got to understand the power that most women teach their sons is only the acquisition to as benefits her as a woman. It's not about principle. True power is predicated in principle, not feelings. So you deal with women that do things based on how they feel instead of doing it based on principle. So therefore, unless a woman has been in a strong culture where men are validated and more or less verified, they don't do things based on principle. They do it based on feelings.
Yeah. My thing is that when I hear some women say that they do use logic, and I listen to them closely, it all goes back and derives back to their feelings. And I'm not throwing no shades that women cannot be logic, but that's not their thing overall.
That's not their default hard drive.
Yeah.
Their default hard drive is feelings first. Women can think logical, but that's not their first mode of thinking. Their first mode of thinking is feelings, and then it's logic after the fact. A man's first mode of thinking is logic, It doesn't mean that men can't be emotional. But then there's feelings after the fact. Most men have their greatest epiphany, meaning logic would say, I thought if I was a good man, she would be a good woman. Therefore, she wouldn't cheat on me or take me to court. But they have that red pill rage when the feelings come on the back end. The woman on the reverse actually says, I thought if I gave him my body that he would love me and take care of his baby. And she comes to her logic on the back end. Does that make sense?
I think I follow it. If you could rephrase it, it'll be good. I think I follow it. If you could rephrase it,
so basically, women get logic sometime after trauma or after something catastrophic. Men, a lot of times when it comes down to logic, their first defense is logic first, but feelings on the back end. So I'm giving you a scenario. Most men, when they get in a relationship, they get in a relationship with the understanding that they're going to be married for life. Men get married based on love, the ideal of love and duty. Women, a lot of times, get married based on a contract. So men come to an epiphany after the fact when she divorces him or take him to child support. So it's normally on the back end, if that makes sense.
All right, I think I follow that. I understand that well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Another interesting question.
And I got about 3 more minutes, brother. I have to run. But about 3 more minutes.
Okay, I was looking at a timer now because I was going
to
another 10 minutes, but you said 3 minutes. But this thing about red pill.
I'll give you 5. All
right, fine. Mm-hmm. Red pill rage, is it really natural for a man, and this could be applied to any age, that a man goes through this thing called red pill rage?
Yes, sir.
Is it really natural or is it unnatural in this society?
Yes, sir. It's very natural. Kubler-Ross, Chaos Ring, talked about the 5 stages of grief. Those 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and then the last stage is acceptance. And so that's a stage of grief, and anger is normally the second stage. So that rage comes in because when men really find out what they thought was reality was actually just a facade. And so they have a hard time calibrating their minds, like a trauma shock, because the conditioning that they thought would more or less benefit them and protect their ego actually is aversive to their ego. So red pill rage is definitely real. I think many men have went through it.
Okay. Well, I haven't gone through it yet, and hopefully I don't. But if I do, I think I know how to go through it properly.
Keep living. Keep living.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to keep living. Yeah. All right. Let me give a call one more time for those. And y'all guys, if you have questions, ask it now because he's only going to be here for a few more minutes. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 917-324-POUND. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code is 917-324-POUND. Tonight's subject, Chaos Rain presents the psychology of man. My final question, if anybody raises a hand, is in regards to the solution part. What things do you give if you have daughters or just any woman? In regards, what are the solutions they could take in regards how to operate in this environment now as a woman to hopefully get picked by a Superman?
Well, there's no such thing as a Superman. All human beings are flawed. I would say be pragmatic, and pragmatic means have a more or less cerebral knowledge, understanding that the top men that they want are actually far and few in between, and that many women have actually met their knight in shining armor, but they rejected him based on hypergamy. So I would say when you find a decent man, let your father vet that man. Unfortunately, a lot of our girls don't have fathers, and we tend to pick men on superficial things. But if you got uncles or elders or men in the community, let those men vet the man that they're dealing with in order to get a solid man that they can settle down with and raise a family or whatever if they decide to do it.
So if they're going to access to their father, right, if he's alive or whatever, then the second best thing is another man that you could trust, either uncle or something.
Right. If they can find that person. But unfortunately, our communities are so fragmented, it's going to be hard to find, brother, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I tell most ladies, do the best you can. Nothing's perfect. And even the purpose of today's stream, when we deal with the psychology man, I want you to have an understanding of psychology man from its entirety, from a therapist like Mr. Kosher Clinician, giving you some game lays of understand man. And I know why most women don't invest time learning or want to understand man, like T.R.S said, because you think you don't need men, and men are abundant, and they'll come to you when it's ready and you're all set. Not in this environment, because last time I checked, the day now for most black women now is only 1 in 4 you're going to get married. And next 4 years, going on 2025, it's going to be 1 in 5. Anything below 30%, you're almost pretty much, I'm not saying done, but the ceiling and the chances are very slim.
Right.
And this is only dealing with the black people side, black male side of things. So if it's low on you, then it's going to be low against other groups of men. Because other groups of men see this, and they know saying when they deal with you, it's always, as much as I want to say, it deals with the sexual aspects. I saw videos of a few women that did entertain other groups of men, very few, and they're not getting nothing good at the deal. Some are getting abuse, some are taking advantage, and the funny thing, after they know they got ringed by another racial group of men, they go back to a man to hope to get acceptance. And I tell you, that's a sick mental illness right there.
Right.
And there's no way how you would take this amount of abuse amongst this community. So why would you take it from other groups of men? Oh, because you look at these people as what? Gods. You know?
Right.
So when we talk about self-hate and all stuff, it's not something the boys just come out the womb, develop it. It's a learned behavior. Our school systems are not controlled. Right. We don't control our school systems, and if you're a mother, you're not reinforcing it with love and compassion, understanding, and teach them, they will not understand it. So a lot of women think that these boys should be automatically submissive, loyal off the womb. No, this environment is contaminated. You get me? Rather the men have the infrastructure not. So if you want to change things, you're going to have to go back from square one and have to teach your children right and do the best you can. And what I've noticed during the pandemic or anything, that a lot of mothers did not like being mothers when their children are at home. So what that tells you, if this is modern woman that a lot of men are looking forward to, we in trouble, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. No, I'm fortunate, man. Unfortunately. Right.
Yeah. It's it. Any links where people could find you, Kosher Clinician?
Yes, please. Thank you, Chaos Ring. So tell them to go to my YouTube channel, and it is DTHE Kosher, KOSHER, like Jewish kosher, KOSHER, Clinician, CLINICIAN. So it's the Kosher Clinician on YouTube. And if Chaos Ring, if they need any clinical, non-diagnostic clinical consultations, I'm doing consultations, and they can email me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com.
You know, I'm going to do, if you got my email, is there any way you could send me links in the email, and I'll put this in my description.
Yeah, it's okay, I'll send it to you now. Cool, give me a minute. I'll send it to you right now. Yeah, it's in the email that you and I talked in. Hold tight.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute.
And another thing for those people who want to say, this man is an actual therapist. So, like many therapists I have on this show, and I never told you, Coach, I have done many shows with other therapists from D. Durrell, Brendan Jenkins, I think Topaz, a bunch of people that's in the field, And people don't understand, we do need proper therapy as a people in this community, more than ever. Because we're not going to get ourselves out of this situation. Besides institutions, one of the few things out of all institutions is the fight what is up here, your head. You need a clean bill of mental health here first before anything else, because wherever the mind goes, the body follows.
Right.
That's how it is. And these people have created an environment, atmosphere for your head that makes your body move by what they have control and teach you from a long time. Just like I was listening to a conversation with a woman about how do you correct the racial problem in regards to change the mindset of people. And one thing she said personally is you have to reinforce certain institutions to re-indoctrinate people. Because from 0 to 18, we go to institutions like the school system, and we are reindoctrinating into what we call quote-unquote white supremacy for the language, the image of God, beauty, everything. So when you come as an adult, you are a fully program.
Mm-hmm.
And to combat that, you have to control the indoctrination process of people. Besides getting a clean mental bill of health. If you can't do one or the other or both, you're going to keep having these conversations. And after a while, I get tired of this conversation, but it is what it is. But like I said, people, I will put that in the description of this stream on my channel. So, like I said, you subscribe to Chaos Reign and also subscribe to Kosher Clinician. Those links will be in the description.
Right.
You know, probably if I have you back again, brother, maybe the end of this year, possibly, I want to focus on the psychology of women, if possible.
Okay, cool.
You down with that?
No doubt. Definitely down with it, brother. It was a pleasure.
All right. We'll talk again soon. Take care. And like I said, I've been subscribed to the channel, so anytime you do anything, I'll be popping up and watching. And
no doubt. Yeah, I think I've seen you in a couple of things. I think I've seen the lead attorney or dentist channel, I believe. I don't know which one.
Yeah. I'll be around.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, brother. It's a pleasure to have me on your show. And tell the people to subscribe, man. I'm grateful. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. We'll talk again soon.
All right.
Take care, brother.
All right, bye-bye.
And, that's the show, people. A shorter version of today's show. Like always, I keep it to a certain amount of minutes. But I hope you learned and took heed to today's information. A lot of things has been said that you could take notes, ladies. I hope this clarifies the psychology of man from a practitioner's perspective, from Kosher Clinician. And I want you to subscribe to his channel as well. The brother's doing good things right now. And I expect him to do more greater things in the future. He's giving back to the community, mind you. And like always, with Chaos Radio Channel, I think, I don't know how many times I broadcast 4 shows a month, possibly. It might cut back a little bit. We shall see. I'm probably going to get some more guests on to the channel or come up with some other subjects for this channel. Nonetheless, throughout the couple months now, it's been very interesting. I think I came up with a good catalog of information. Some of it will not be much popular on YouTube or a favorite to people that goes back to it, and I expect this, but at the end of the day, I'm a man, I'm a podcaster. I deal with the information and the subject at hand overall. Some things are going to be entertainment, and some are going to be, maybe to y'all or anybody listening, possibly boring. At the end of the day, you're going to learn something. And I always said this in the mission, and I forgot to say this, but I'll tell y'all now. I'm here to raise your attention span. The average attention span for a man and woman, or just people in general, is under 5 seconds. That is no good. Under 5 seconds, you cannot absorb information or get to understand what you're listening or learning or conceptualize anything under 5 seconds. So like everything on Chaos Radio Channel, I am here to greatly increase your attention span so it far exceeds 5 seconds. Because heaven knows, your attention span goes further with the things that entertain you for a good reason. And trust me, you know how to better your attention span about everything. You got to make the conscious discipline to listen, absorb, and learn. And that's it for me tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to today's stream. Catch me on the next podcast/stream. Until next time, take care and good night.
Thank you for listening to another broadcast. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Kosher Clinician and his YouTube channel, which I'll put in the description of this video. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You can now find me on Twitter at ChaosRain7 and follow me on Facebook, Eric Rain. So, till next time, let it chaos reign.
All right, guys. The YouTube has been stopped. I'm gonna give it 1 or 2 minutes. I'm gonna open the lines for everybody that wants to dialogue or, have some fun on the after hour edition. Here,
Gary, it's stopped now.
All right. Yeah. The mic sounds good. I don't hear no feedback. I don't know if people say anything about the mic so far, but it's good. Sounds good, though. I might buy another mic, depending on if needed. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I was supposed to have a new machine.
Yeah, I was in the store the other day, and I remember seeing people on YouTube saying that these Yeti mics was pretty good. So I said, well, let me pick up one. I was in Best Buy, so that's what I grabbed.
Okay. Like I said before, Tyrone, with the conscious direction of the movement, whether good or bad, I look at it now as entertainment for niggas now. And to be fair,
it's a whole lot of drama going on, man. Like Real Housewives, like reality TV.
But people like that shit. Why do you think a lot of content creators were doing pure streams on Polite for the past week and a half, maybe 2 now? Fresh and Fit, they were doing. And matter of fact, when I look at the Fresh and Fit podcast on YouTube, they are actually starting to lose more subscribers, but they're still drawing in 5K or more people watching their channel. So
I heard that name before. I'm gonna search it and see what that is. I've never seen them. Fresh and Fit is the name of it.
Yeah, that's the name of their YouTube channel.
I never. Oh, I see. It's 2 guys. I see them.
Yeah, one is from Africa. And the other was from the islands.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check them out.
They're more of a dating type channel with a bunch of white girls sitting around asking her questions. So that they do talk about finance and stuff. But overall, most men that listen in, they want to hear and know about what we want to call. They want to know the bitches, in other words, and most of these white women on there. So
but if somebody push one, I'm gonna open the line.
Yeah, go ahead, push one.
Wait a minute.
You can't get it? All right, I got it. All right. I'll open your line.
Hi,
yes,
gentlemen.
Hey, Gigi, how you doing?
Hi, Tyrone. Hi. Listen, Fresh and Fit are idiots. You can listen to them if you want to, but they suck. But Abba and Preach, Abba, A-B-A, and Preach are phenomenal. You're going to love them.
Abba and Preach.
Abba and Preach. I think one guy is Haitian, of Haitian descent, and one guy is, I think, from Ethiopia. They met in the military somewhere, and they are phenomenal. But other guys are just jerks, but you can listen to them if you want to.
Well, my thing is this, because I've listened to Fresh before I subscribe to Abba Preach. I'm not sure I'm going to listen to their content because I'm not familiar with them cats, but my thing is this.
You have to give them time. Each show is different, Gary.
Let me speak. The reason why I mentioned Abba and Preach, I did subscribe to him a week ago or 2 because of this fiasco, just to see what they got. And I heard little snippets of them, and I don't really listen to the whole content streams. And the reason why, because these are more stronger YouTubers. And usually if I never heard about them until some drama, I'm not going to invest too much time now, listen to them now, because let's be honest, most people, they get my attention once you hit the algorithm on my side of YouTube. And for a channel that got 1 million subscribers, they're not doing nothing effective enough, in my opinion, to hit my algorithm. You get me? I only heard about them because of what people are talking about, these 2 cats from Florida, Fresh and Fit. And from what I understand, the reason why they put content on them is because they broke uneven bread with certain women on the Fresh and Fit podcast. So they went and go report that to Abba and Preach, and they did a video on them. You get me? And it tells you the power of certain so-called network with certain people or wrong people. They will use that against you from another stronger outlet. You get me? So that's why Fresh and Fit are getting the demise or the slow demise or, slowly decline what they're getting now. Because they let me tell you something. The whole premise of their platform is getting women up there, show them the game, and if they're not following, they just kick them out. And that's where they got the most attention. Besides all this thing with, some of the strippers or the porn stars they have up there, it's questionable, but they know it's beneficial for the platform because they're attracting men. Because the people that's paying them for super chats are not women, are men. And they know that men are going to pay money to hear men interact with women, whether in a positive or negative life. It is what it is. And that's just a business move they did. And to let everybody know, these gentlemen had very much under 20K subscribers last year, almost going on last year. And during the pandemic, ending of the end of 2020, going to 2021, they slowly climbed and exploded. So it tells you that these dudes strategize their brand properly and market themselves and push it in the right time, just like any content on YouTube. The reason why they decline that because they brush too many people the wrong way. And the wrong way is some of them female content creators. So that's what these guys are learning the hard way now. And let's be honest, Myron Gaines doesn't really give a fuck about most people on YouTube. That's why he says the negative shit he says about them. You get me? And it's hurting him now. His friend Fresh is there for the ride. That's it. Now, people said, are they going to be really over? I said, as long as they're on YouTube, anybody could rebound and bounce back. They already got over 100K subscribers. The only thing that's in their future is decline. And I'm looking at the decline, and their numbers has not hit yet. The only thing I see that's slowly dropping is the subscriber count. But that's irrelevant because as long as you get 5K people watching every time you live stream, you're good. You get me? Most content creators that have 100K subscribers don't even crack 10K people watch on a live stream, like Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels getting like 23, 22 on the average, and he has now 1 million subscribers. And he was getting that number before he reached 1 million subscribers. And these cats are getting this under 500K subscribers. So my concern is once they start losing the people watching per live stream, then they know it's really over for now. But like I said, the internet is a very unique resource. Majority of people don't do background checks or check on a lot of these content creators. So when the people say these guys are going to have to find new hustle and stuff, I disagree. Because as long as they have a brand and a product and they have the viewers and the eyeballs and the mass of over 1,000 or more watching, they're good. Only time they have the concern is when you lose a subscriber count and lose people watching and it cuts down from 5K to under 500 people watching, then I know it's slowly going to be dying off. And every time I check their channel, every time I go live, they're pushing 5K more people watching. And a lot of these cats already know what's going on in the business about them, and they did expose themselves, and they reveal all the secrets through their last live stream. And they still have people rock with them because they like what they have, the material they have. So, like I said, the so-called manager think that they're doing something to destroy these cats. And I say, you're not destroying nobody right now. Because the internet is a very vast resource. People forget.
Yeah, man, I don't think I'm watching it for now. Because, for a long time, I didn't even watch none of this mess. But when Polite did what he did, and then other people started exposing each other, I was like, wow. I'm basically I'm in it for the smut, for the dirt, for the gossip.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, everybody's here for the gossip.
The video that I seen like either last night or the night before was about Solar Man and Sanetta's wife. Somehow or another, Sanetta.
Oh, Naba Sanat? Okay, Naba. Huh? Yeah. Naba Savat. Naba.
Yeah. Somehow or another.
His side wife. Yeah, because he has an actual wife.
Well, he divorced his first wife, Cynthia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And now he's dating this Nava person. And Solar Man has got some nude pictures of this lady, and Solar Man has got a criminal record, and on his criminal record, it's got he exposed himself to minors, and in criminal sexual conduct. I'm like, wow.
Solar Man?
Yes.
Solar Man?
Yes.
I never heard this. This is something new. I remember Solar Man. He was on Renee's channel, the Rundown Renee.
Solar Man used to come on here. But what I'm saying is that they exposing everybody over there to not talk about Polite. They're exposing everybody else's criminal records. They told us about Sanetta's criminal record. We found out about that.
No, we already know. Listen, you know why Sanetta worked for the Black Panther? Because he was doing hustling things back in the day. You know that, right?
Yeah, and then there's this dude called
I'm not surprised it's on there because he used to hustle back in there. So I wasn't surprised he did time in jail. That stuff is new. I don't know why people just now know that.
Moore's TV, more something TV. He got a criminal record. All of these people on here are crooks, man, or criminals or something. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's funny as shit, and I just keep watching. I can't take my eye off of it.
Well, my thing is, I did not know Sodomite did time in jail for sexual conduct. That's what he got in jail for?
I don't know if he got in jail, but I'll send you the link to the video.
Send me the link now. I got to watch this, because I never heard this. Because I know Sonnet was running his mouth on one live stream that I think he took down, and he said he was exposing a lot of people, and he said the people that...
that's exactly what Sonnet did. He exposed Soleimani, and then he took the damn video down. I was like, motherfucker.
What the fuck?
But Soleimani is on this other guy's TV, Moore's World TV, and Soleimani will tell you about his record himself. So I'll show you that link now.
Okay.
But these guys are going ham on each other, man.
It's all about credibility at the end of the day, Tyrone. And when somebody gets put in the spotlight, what do you think the last ditch effort they're gonna do? They're gonna start exposing each other. You know? Mm-hmm. And for whatever good reason, if you're a person that's doing content, you better make sure your record's clean. No one does know about you. You know what I'm saying? They did this with a guy named Ramil Ahmad. How he was one time.
Well, you ain't got to tell me. I'm a victim of this shit, Gary. I mean, it was before you even showed up that people was putting my family up. They was going back, and I actually had people come.
I mean, it makes me wonder how people are able to find people's information. I mean, if you're putting their names on social media and they're able to do background checks, I wonder how that works. How do you know
Dude,
a person?
It's not hard at all, man. And I never hid anything about myself, so it was easy for me. You just put my name in Google and something will come up, you know. So people just do
maybe
digging,
something that I could find about me on Google possibly, and I say possibly, but how I use internet, I limit much information about myself as possible. You get me?
Well, today in today's world, man, because they are constantly collecting data on you. I mean, they're collecting a lot of data on you, man, and it's easy to do searches.
Yeah, but you see, the problem with the search is if you have, let's say, a Facebook, per se, which everybody has Facebook. I don't give a fuck if people say they don't. You do. And if you did, you disable it, it's still roaming on the internet. End of story. Mm-hmm. If you put your age, your school, your family, all the above, they know you. Especially if you put your... Let's say they put your actual name and your age. That's something they can use, but it's not enough information. They want to see what you look like, what your family looks like. They want to know everything. And if you're a person that's very conservative and you give just the basic information by yourself, there's not much dirt you could pull on somebody. You get me? And how I understand how this shit works, to be fair and honest, is because I know how the internet works. When I first made a Facebook account, per se, I limit the amount of information I put on Facebook, period. Now, there's some things I could probably hide, but that's irrelevant because I want to give just enough for those that know me a little bit or anything else. I don't put all my information on Facebook.
Well, I wasn't cautious at all when I was creating my internet stuff. Not at all. I wasn't even thinking about creating content or anything. So, I wasn't thinking about being no YouTuber or nothing like that. So all of my shit was already out there when I created my account.
Yeah, I would say this, Tyron, because you say you don't want to be monetized again. I would say if you do get 1,000 subscribers, I would say still try to. You get me? Regardless, this is more of a mature audience.
It's not that I don't want to do it again, Gary. What it is that I instead of social media, I'm home. I'm a single parent, and I'm a single guy, so I'm doing work around my house that is occupying my time compared to sitting here on social media. When you sit here on social media for all these time, people don't realize how much time it takes to create this content. You have to spend a lot of time on these computer screens doing things, and I ain't got time for that. I just don't have time to sit here.
But you still do the Thursday news, so you make time for that. I'm not saying you're supposed to do content every day on T.R.S, but if you do one stream a day, that's good enough. You get me?
Okay, the Thursday news, right? It's kind of outdated the way I do it, right? Because I don't show my face. I'm not on the live cam, and I'm not doing the modern stuff.
But you were never live cam. But you were never on live cam.
Right, that's what I'm saying, though. But in order for me to keep up with everybody else, I need to go ahead and update the way I do it. You see what I'm saying? If I'm gonna try to get in the race with everybody else, I need to go ahead and get on par with everybody else. And I'm not getting ready to do none of that. I'm not about to buy no cameras, no lights, and all that kind of stuff right now. You know, wow, I'm not saying it won't happen down the road, but right now, like I said, I'm just busy in my house doing stuff.
But, you know, I didn't think it was a necessity now. I mean, I see certain people came up, but I still see people still drawing audience without even doing all that extra shit today. And mind you, social media and YouTube has changed in the last couple of years. And some people have been successful camming up, changing backgrounds. So it has worked. But there's some people that doesn't even do that, still able to draw an audience on a live stream. You get me? So when I look at people who need audience, I'm saying, for what again? You get me? Because people that have channels, if you're saying and putting out the right message, you get a certain audience at a good pace of numbers. Especially if you're paying for advertisement, which a lot of people don't do, and people should be started doing using Google Ads to promote their shows and stuff. That it depends how far you want to grow your channel. You get me? Your channel can grow steadily slow or it can grow super fast. It all depends on what content you try to put out. Now, when you grew back in 2014, it was all towards Tommy Sotomayor, if I can remember. Because you couldn't have...
Well, no, it was that first, but then, remember, we had the religious debates over here, and Joshua was inviting guests over here. So all of that stuff kind of, you know, went together in the growth of the channel.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and mind you, back then, there was still a place for consciousness. Now, end of the 2010 decade, there's no place for it now. Everybody's on drama and fuckery. That's where people are at.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of drama.
And mind you, this is where it really says, and not only that, gender war is another top thing. You get me?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's what really pushes the sales now, people that want to pay with super chats, etc., because they want to see that. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see about no debates, all that other shit. They're beyond that now. They want to see real fuckery, just like Housewives of Atlanta and all the shit.
Yeah, it's just reality TV, but you're getting it live.
Yeah.
And this dude named YouTube named Uncle Suge. I don't know. I don't know. That guy is just off the damn chain. He don't give a shit. He go in everybody's background record. He tell it all. This dude named Uncle Suge. He one of them people that will troll your ass, get all your information, and put it on damn YouTube and talk shit about you.
Yeah,
and that's what he's doing to everybody in the House of Conscience.
Which is illegal now. I mean, some people say that it's a criminal charge because
it's illegal because I know that whenever I was putting up documents, my videos would get flagged. So there is a policy on YouTube where you can't put people's real name and you can't put their documents. I don't know how these people getting away with this, but they're getting away.
No, you know why you get away with it? Because no one's
even with Tasha K. Tasha K are putting up criminal records, you can't do that shit on YouTube. So I don't know why. I guess nobody ain't reporting it, but
I mean, they could report it, but let's be honest, it has to be a certain amount of people reporting it. And I'm gonna tell you a secret, because I was listening to this for Red's channel. You know of a lady, a singer, or some porn star named Ty Tequila? This Asian chick, the Filipino chick called Ty Tequila. You know this chick?
I can't say that I do. I have to see her face.
She's a Filipino, short Filipino. She did a live stream about black women's hair and said they were cursed to God why they have natural hair.
Oh, I've seen that on TikTok.
Yeah. Did you know one content creator band together with all her supporters to get her channel removed and flagged off YouTube?
Well, she should, because that lady was wrong as fuck for what she said.
No, but you got to understand, YouTube is a platform, and I don't condone people flagging. You have disagree. Because that's saying, if I say or a woman says something about a man, you want them to take the same approach and get rid of their channel? No. You get me?
Well, what that lady said
men are
was
different
just
from
wrong.
women. Mm-hmm. Men are different from women. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I don't go here and try to ban with my users and stuff, so we're going to flag. No,
I guess I'm a little biased with this, but I ain't finna sit here and listen to no chinky-eyed Asian lady talk about black women. That's just, that ain't me. But let me open these lines. I'm going to open these lines. Yeah, but I ain't finna sit here and listen to no Asian lady talk about black women, so I'm glad somebody did something about that damn lady, man, because that was just dirty and wrong. That was just. I don't know why she would.
But you see, my thing is, I have no problem with it. Can I really listen to the live stream if I can find it? But my thing is this: she's reference to the Bible, which a lot of black people, either they accustomed or not, that she's not the same, or that she's using that same word that people read as true or not, to explain her logic. So the best thing a person could do is counteract. I not see one consecrate with common sense a female use to say, well, this is the reason why the Bible is wrong. Here's that. They should have said, oh, you ugly ratchet. I mean, listen, any person that puts out anything and uses the word of God towards you, you have to counteract with logic. That's how you debunk anything. When you go for an emotional stance and you're going to not only rant, but try to have somebody flag, that tells you have no logic or anything to combat anything that puts out anything, whether it's negative or positive, towards our people. Because let's be honest with you, the reason why she got attraction is because not only she's Asian, but she's talking about a certain set of people in this community and using the Bible to logically justify it. And like any intelligent person, which we are, we say, oh, well, Ty the Kid, since you're talking about here, I'm going to tell you about this, that, and I'm going to debunk that logically. You get me? Because now when black women debate logically, now it refutes and gives her less credibility. You get me? Because she did that for clicks and views, and you know who gave it attention? Fucking black women. And so
listen, I don't blame them. That lady was wrong in that video, Gary. As a matter of fact, I agree with the black women that got rid of her channel. I understand what you're saying about. I understand what you're saying about trying to refute it logically and all that kind of stuff.
Because it's like same with the white males that. And listen, let me tell you something. I'm not really a fan of fake hair, but I know this is how our community operates anyway. But if anybody's gonna pose, whether black or not, and say about your hair, you better come with some receipts and debunk these motherfuckers. Instead, turn it into an emotional little child and going right, because now you give validation. You get me? That you're gonna still buy their fake fucking shit. And matter of fact, it's gonna come to the point with our black women that she's one of many few racist women is not gonna be the only one. There's gonna be more women that's not black gonna be bold, and they're gonna talk about black women, and they're gonna still talk about the hair and all that stuff. And black women not gonna use their logic and intelligence because they say they're smart.
Well, but not Gary. You know that the fake hair or the hair industry don't only sell products to black women. Asian people wear wigs and fake hair, and white people wear wigs and fake. Everybody, all women wear those type of cosmetic accessories.
We're talking about, I'm not concerned about consent, but as a community, as a whole, we consume the most. That's the
I'm not going to agree with that. The reason that I can't agree with that, let me show you why, is because we're only 13% of the population, right? And a certain percentage of that is black women. Let's say half of that is black women. The rest of the population that is consuming hair products are fucking white women. So by the numbers, they're the one consuming all of these products, and for some reason, our community has turned this into a thing saying that we consume the most. That's just not true.
Now you say we don't consume the most.
No,
and I'm a man, and I'm not talking about hair because I'm a man. I don't wear hair, fake hair. But let's go by numbers. Let's say if we could hold this as weight, I don't really do the data who owes more. You get me? But I would say this in regards to care, and I'm not gonna focus on makeup because every woman wears makeup. You're not going to stop that. But in regards to buying this fake hair, and these dudes complain about the hair, which I don't like the hair either, that's saying this business grows $1 billion, and it's grossing maybe almost $15 billion now. And out of that, if we want to do numbers, I doubt if we want to go there that white woman has the audacity to say, I'm going to buy another person's hair put over my head. And they already got hair that grows out
they do it all the time.
Yeah,
listen, let me tell you what. I watch a lot of comic book shit on goddamn Netflix and Fire Stick, right? So all of these white actors actresses that I see, if you go Google them and look at their hair, you can see that they got on. I ain't saying in the costume. I'm saying like whenever they dress up, they have on different wigs and different pieces and all this kind of shit in their damn hair. Whenever you see them in a photograph on the internet. So my point is, whenever white women put these pieces in their hair, it's not pointed out. Whenever white women put on wigs, we don't talk about it. but they're still buying that product. They really are. But for some reason, our community has highlighted this about our women, and we're making it a negative thing, and we done gave them the title of buying the most. I just don't buy that stuff, man. Because women are women. Women are women. All women gonna buy shit. You know, I don't buy that.
But for black women to put on white hair, that's a whole nother nightmare. It's one thing if you put on a wig or a weave that looks like black hair, but when you're putting on blonde hair or yellow hair or it makes
Gigi, and that's a little bit far fetched, and I don't really condone that. I don't like that when they're using the blonde, but I see why most of them will use blonde, because let's be honest, a lot of them think that blondes have more fun, so a lot of black women think that they're gonna have more fun as a black woman if you're heavily dark skinned, that it's gonna look cute having the blonde hair, and that's not true.
It looks sad.
Well, hold on, y'all got to back up. These women. So Tara, you don't mind? You like a sister with a nice gold blonde wig on their head. You love it, sexy on it, right? Looks sexy on it. No, but what I'm trying to say is that these women that are buying these products, they're obviously attracting males. Somebody is attracted to them, so they're not.
No, a male will bang anything. That doesn't mean they're attracting men.
Thank you.
No matter what on her head could have been on fire. He would have still tried to bang her. That's not the point.
Well, that's kind of fucked up, Gigi. I mean,
no, but Gigi, and she's talking right that a man will have sex, but afterwards, like he said, if they ask opinion on the evidence, said that's not cool. I don't like that color. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what it is? Women don't listen to men. So when guys say, "Hey, I really don't like all that makeup. Oh, I don't like all that stuff in your hair," we'll hear them, but we'll still do it.
Exactly.
So that.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I've said it before, and I don't know if I'm going to get any trouble or not, but I've said it. I have not. I, as a single man, have not dated anybody that don't wear their natural hair. And the reason that I'm saying that is we can sit up here and complain about it all day, and if you're not attracted to it, then don't go towards it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I agree with that.
Listen to what I'm saying. If you're not attracted to it, then there's somebody out there that's not doing that. So for us to sit up here and criticize the people that do it, I mean, I think that that's wrong. You know, it's just one of the things. If that's what those folks do, that's what they do. But if you're a man and that's not your preference, there is women out there that don't do that. So there's no need for me to sit up here and criticize the women that do it. You know, I'm pretty sure as a guy, I can find somebody that don't do it. That's the way I look at
it. Yeah. My thing is this, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do. At the end of the day, I'm not really too fond of fakeness overall. You know, besides that, I hear some women now, they got the money to augment their body now, which that's not a question. But my thing is, you know, there's certain trade-offs. I would do.
Well, how far are you going to go with the fakeness, Gary? Because if you look at fakeness, when you put on deodorant.
Now, Tyrone, are we going to really have this conversation now about smelling good now? Tyrone,
but you're
a judge black man. Are we going to have this conversation about smelling good now, bro? Come on, man.
But fakeness is you.
I don't want to smell musty. And most women will tell you they don't want no musty person. I don't want to be musty for no reason. Not for a woman. I don't want to smell bad. And it goes to the fact that I hear now men got fake beards. And one time they used to wear fake toupees, which I've seen it sometimes. Now the beard thing is a little preposterous. I know that's some new shit. I know, but like I said, once you start taking on these characteristics of putting on fake things to like false hairs, and men are starting doing it, it's a problem now. But I know a lot of women start talking about it. But really true, when we look at most women don't really focus on if the man has real beard or not. I don't focus on it. That's something new I just discovered. I thought usually a beard is something that you grow out your face naturally. You get me? Besides your head. The hair you can't control. If you have bald spots, the best thing to do is shave it off. Now, someone will make fun and say, you know, why don't you keep your hair? I remember one time it was a conversation by Cynthia G saying, why don't you keep your hair if it's bald the way it is? And I say, no, because most men, if they're losing hair on the top of the head, they're going to shave it out to make it look
okay.
Better.
She made a good point there. You're complaining about wigs and extensions, right? If you're really concerned about natural hair, your hair grows bald naturally. So don't do nothing fake to it, but like cutting it off, let it grow naturally out of your head. So that's actually a good point.
No, but you see, the problem in that logic, if we want to go there, that men do things not only to attract the opposite sex, but they do it just to look better. A man's like
okay, so that's the same thing with women.
No, because there's a difference. Because a woman, if she decided to wake fake hair or go bald themselves, is always their look to try to attract the opposite sex. And to their thinking, to their minds, and Gigi could probably correct us, that a man always like to see if you have something natural. And if you sometimes grow your hair naturally, if you can, it's preferable. Now, if you rock a bald head, you better look cute in regards to rocking a bald head. And I see some women that shave off, don't look cute, and makes it look worse. So when a man shave his head, it's a little different because a man does it so that way he looks decent. You get me? To have half a hair at any age is not a good look. It is what it is. Right? A lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. That's why a lot of dudes that are getting bald they shave it off because they have to look appealing.
The whole word that I was focusing around that you said was fake. Was the word fake. So whenever you use the word fake, you're actually, the men are being fake when they actually give themselves a bald head because that ain't how their hair naturally grows. Compared to when you guys are saying that the women are fake when they buy false hair because that ain't how their hair grow. So across the board, if everybody's going to be authentic, then let the men have that big ass bald spot in the damn top of their head and let the women wear their natural hair. That's fair.
And like I said, some men have done it. Very small men do that. But majority of men, if it does look bad, let me tell you something. Women are going to let them know say if it looks cute enough when they say something. And most men, on the average, when they change their hair, is usually to make sure the opposite sex don't say nothing. And a lot of dudes are very sensitive with their hair, especially if they're going bald, on the average. And that's why a lot of dudes shave it off to knock it out the way. Because they're not going to have that little funny, what do you call it, that Sanford, or that, what's that guy's name?
Grady?
George Jefferson.
George Jefferson.
It's not. See, George Jefferson can rock it because he's an actor. But the average man, he can't do that. You get me? Because when we're going to talk, they're going to say some shit to him. And a lot of dudes don't want the women to start saying some shit. Because a lot of dudes nowadays can't handle rejection, unfortunately. And if they find women said something about their hair and say it a negative way, a man's going to take offense. And they're going to correct that, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? See, women are not accustomed to rejection, Tyrone. That's why you see when dudes do reject women, they do get in their feelings and they will do something to you. You get me? But it's natural for women to sit there and reject men. And some dudes either accept it or not, it is what it is. That's why women, in any environment, they expect a man to love and flock to them. They don't want to hear no man say, I don't like you, you're this and that, I'm rejecting you. It's not something normal to her. You get me? Because usually she finds
I don't know. I think women just like to make themselves look nice. They like to dress up. I ain't no woman, so I don't know. But I think it's like inherent in them for them to fix themselves up and do things to themselves. And, and I try to stay out of that, So whatever woman do to fix herself up, to make herself feel good, I mean, I'm all right with it, I don't object to it, Because I have to be satisfied. Just like right now, I'm letting my hair grow out.
What do you mean grow out? What do you mean? What do you mean growing out?
Getting long. My hair is getting long. My hair is long.
So you want to dreads? You want to have dreads or something?
I don't know, man. I go through different phases with my hair. Sometimes I got a beard. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I cut my mustache off. But right now, I'm in this phase of letting my hair grow. So I might cut it off next month. I don't know. But my point being is that at certain different times, people just feel like they're going to fix themselves up however they want to fix it. And with women and cosmetics, that's just the thing that women do, like painting their toenails or fingernails or whatever. That's what women do,
Yeah, that's one thing, but when a man does it, it's very weird. Yeah.
No, you can't paint your fingernails as a man. I don't give a shit about that now. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Anybody else want to talk, man? Because I'm done for tonight. Yeah, I think I said enough.
Yeah, you guys can go ahead. I guess me and Gary just got carried away here. but you guys can speak, have at it. I'll just leave it open. Y'all can speak if y'all want to. I guess not. Well, Gary, I'm going to holler at you, man.
Okay.